We just read your last blog, The Treasure Chest. Imagine long after you've passed away, your sons Jason and Matthew find an old chest filled with your stuff. What is a tool they would find?
A tool?
Like you said your mom had like paintbrushes and stuff. Like, what is a tool from your lifetime that they would find?
Boy, what a question. Wow. What a question. I'm afraid they'd find quite a bit of electronic gadgets. But they'd also find fishing gear. They'd find fishing lures, and they would find cameras. They do a lot of hiking with a camera. They would find books, lots of books. Books by Steinbeck and Herman Melville, and I think that's what they would find.
What is a quote they would find?
A quote they would find. Well, they'd probably find the books that I've written, and I'd hope they'd find a good quote in there somewhere. A quote they would find. They might find a little piece of paper that it's actually a yellow sticky. When I was writing a book in the late 1980s, and it was a really big, long book. It was about children and the changing realities of family life. And I was struggling with this book. And I was reading John Steinbeck's journal that he wrote when he was writing East of Eden. I'm sorry, when he was writing The Grapes of Wrath. And the quote said, this book is harder than anything I've ever written. The sad truth is that it is the best that I can do. And he was writing The Grapes of Wrath. But it wasn't good enough for him. So I took comfort in that if he felt insecure, this great writer, about what he was writing, then I could feel a little insecure too, and I'd get over it. He did.
What is a photo that they would find there?
They would find a lot of photos of them in there. I have a lot of pictures of them, and a lot of them, they're holding fish, or they're outside, or they're with their mom. They'd find a lot of pictures of their mom in there.
What is a song they would find in there?
A song. Well, they'd probably find some CDs of John Prine, who's my favorite songwriter, and he's the only singer, star, of any kind that I've ever actually walked up to and said something to. I saw him in an airport once, and I went up to him, and I knew he'd lost his record contract, and I just loved his songs, and I went up to him and said, "Thanks, John, please keep playing." I said something really stupid like that, and he said, "Have you seen my drummer?" He was looking for his drummer, but I love his songs. And he has a great quote, all kinds of great quotes. But one of them I think about, and what I was talking tonight about how we see the future. There's a quote in one of his songs that about wishing for bad luck and knocking on wood. And that's what I think we're doing lately in our society, is we're wishing for bad luck and knocking on wood. We don't have a very good image of the future in our mind, and we better start painting one.
So what's a book they would find?
A book. Well, they'd find Grapes of Wrath. They'd find, they might find Travels with Charlie by John Steinbeck, that made me, when I was 13, want to be a journalist. He traveled all over the United States with his dog and wrote about it. 1960, I think that was written. Right now I'm reading Moby Dick, and that's an amazing book. Something I read when I was in college, and I had to, and I didn't like it then, but now I like it.
What is the story that they would find there?
Well, They would find one of my books that's about them, which is called The Web of Life, and it's a book of little essays, actually columns that I did when I was a newspaper columnist. And it's mainly about them growing up and me being a father and their mother being a mother. So I think they would find that.
What is a mark they would find there?
A mark? You know, it's wonderful you're asking these questions because I know you're basing it on this piece that I did. And that piece, by the way, about my mother's chest of drawers was in The Web of Life originally. And that story is about after she died, this chest that sat next to her art desk. She was a commercial artist, a greeting card artist, and I spent a lot of time at that desk. I was very familiar with that chest, and after she died, I decided I needed to refinish the chest, and I started sanding it down, and all of these marks, all of her marks, paint marks, you know, brush marks, gouges from X-Acto blades, etc., were in there, and as I slowly sanded them down, her voice kind of came to me, and had a conversation with her while I was doing this. And I left it unfinished. There's still some marks in there. So my marks, I think would probably be coffee stains. So.
Okay. Ever since we found this in our classroom, we were wondering what it meant. Since you wrote the book Last Child in the Woods, we thought you would be the perfect person to answer it.
Does a bear shit in the woods? The answer is yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's pretty great. So you better show them that. That's great. That's great.